morning. Well, this video is all about dealing with low back pain. As with any exercise you do, any pain, you stop. So you decide and listen to your body as to what you can and you can't do. So I'm going to start by laying you down on the floor. So I'd like you to get your mat if you would. Let's give you a bit more info before we start. You might want to switch your video off. See if you can get your mat near a wall. And you do need a mat today for some of the standing poses. This is a nice non-slip mat, so as long as you're on a non-slip surface will be fine. You're going to need a few books, maybe a couple of pillows for this video. So lying on the floor. So lying down, when you go to lie down, see if you can tuck your chin to your chest, hold on to the backs of your thighs so you can control the back down. So you're going to try and go down one vertebrae at a time. So tuck your chin to your chest, round your spine, draw the abdomen back and roll yourself down and bring your feet slowly towards you as you go down. So you can use your arms and the strength of your arms to lower your back slowly to the floor. And when it's all the way down, start to lower your head. So you need to be on the centre of the back of your head. Posture is very important when we're talking about our lower back. So centre of the back of the head, so you can tuck your chin a bit towards your chest. Now, the shoulder blades, if you take your hands down onto the floor, press down with your hands and your forearms, lift your chest off the floor to get those shoulder blades to come further down your back. So now the upper back is supported. And then you're going to stretch your right leg away onto the floor and then your left leg away. Join your heels, stretch your heels away from you, toes towards you so the calves are on the floor. Now hopefully we can see, if I move my hands out the way, you can see I have a natural lumbar curve and hopefully you've got a natural lumbar curve. But that's how it should feel and that's how it should be. So if you take your fingers onto it's called an iliac crest. It's the bowl of your abdomen, the bowl here of your hips and round here. And you've got 2 points there. This area here we're going to be working a lot of, and they need to be pointing straight up to the ceiling. So then working from there, then how we use the top half of the body also influences the bottom half. And you're going to take those hands back to the floor if you've moved them away. And then you're going to inhale and raise your arms straight up into the air. Now I want you to take them over your head. Now what happens here is if we are particularly tight in the shoulders or the lower back, as people want to take their hands to the floor, so they'll arch their back in order to do it. So that's why I suggested a pillow here. So I want you to focus on no movement whatsoever in this area. And then you're going to take your arms up and over your head and you can use the pillow to support the arms. Then you're going to really stretch away with the heels and stretch away with your fingers. Opening out. Have a little bit of a wriggle. Elongate your body. So this is how your spine should be. It's natural curves and its natural shape. But when we stand up we alter things. Anyway, so move your pillow out the way if you have it there. And then you're going to put your feet flat on the floor. Bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. So the feet are hip distance apart. So again, hopefully you can see that what we're going to do now is we're going to now tip this area. So we're going to exhale, press your lower back into the floor, which tips your tailbone up to the sky. And then breathe, keep pushing your back into the floor. So we're hollowing out the abdomen. And now we're going to reverse. So we're going to arch the back. So you're going to tip your tailbone down towards the floor, arch your spine, and increase the shape of that lumbar curve. And breathe. So now go again. Just keep going, your pace. Exhale, press your back into the floor. Inhale, lifting up, tipping the pelvis in the reverse direction. Exhale, presses your back into the floor. Tailbone comes up towards the sky. Inhale, tailbone goes down towards the floor, you arch your back, and then come back to neutral. So I've particularly done this on the floor. You're going to be doing it kneeling in a minute, because what happens very often when we have problems with the lower back, we have problems with some big muscles inside here called psoas muscles, and they want to slightly tip the pelvis in that direction. So we need to keep the pelvis upright and in neutral. So now you're going to stretch your legs out onto the floor. Bring the heels together. And you're going to stretch away with your left leg. Lift your foot up, stretch it away from you. Lift your right leg up, stretch it away from you. And then bend your right knee onto your chest. Take hold of the leg just below the knee and draw the knee towards your chest as you stretch away with the left leg. Feel the stretches in your lower back. As I said to you, any pain in any of the exercises, you stop. And just breathe. And then release the right leg. So bring the heels together, really stretch the leg away from you. And then bend the left leg towards your chest. Hold below the knee and draw the knee towards your chest. Breathe again. And release. Go back to the first side again, so back to your right leg. So feel the differences on each side. Just observe. Are you breathing? And release the right leg, come back to the left leg. And release the left leg. So now you're going to bend you're not going to use your hands now, you're going to take your arms out to the side, shoulder height, palms down. Bend your right knee on towards your chest. And now you're going to keep that knee flexed and you're going to take the knee out to the side. So rotating out to the side. Now you're going to draw big circles with your knee. So bring the knees up to the centre, then the knee goes across the body, up towards your head. Big circles with that knee. We're rotating that hip joint. Your lower back connects to your legs via that hip joint, so it needs to be nice and loose. So round you go. And then reverse direction. Go the reverse way. So really take the sweep out as far as you can. So making sure all the while we've kept that pelvic area in neutral. And then stop and stretch your leg along the floor. And bending up your left leg. So taking the knee out to the side. Round you go. Big circles with that knee. Up towards your chest, out to the side. Over. Up to your chest. Keep going. And reverse direction. Round in the other way. And stretch the leg out onto the floor. So now we're going to come to kneeling. So in order to do that, we need to sit up. In order to protect our lower backs, bend your knees, put your feet flat on the floor. Then you're going to take your hands and hold on halfway up your thighs at the back. Bend your knees onto your chest. Now push your feet away from you and you get to sit up. That was easy, wasn't it? Right, now you're going to come to all fours. And we're going to do something called cat-cow, which is exactly what you were doing with that pelvic tilt on the floor just now. So we're now going to start to involve the arms and legs. Press down with your hands. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Fingers are spread. Really press down into those hands so the arms are straight. Knees are directly underneath your hips. You're going to exhale, tuck your chin towards your chest, look towards your navel, and take your lower back, the air of your waist, up towards the sky, up towards the ceiling, and breathe. And then come back to neutral again. So that nice tabletop. And now you're going to reverse the tilt of the pelvis. You're going to take your tailbone up to the sky and look forward and up and breathe. And then come back to neutral again. So let's try and do that with the breath. So you're going to exhale, drop your chin down, round your spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reverse, so tailbone up towards the ceiling and look forward. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. Inhale to arch. And then come to neutral. So also the abdomen needs to be quite strong when we're doing, we're protecting the back. So I'd like you to stretch your right arm forward and look towards the hand and stretch your left leg back. Work the abdomen and breathe. And put the right hand back down and the left knee. So on the other side, stretch the left hand forward, stretch the right leg back. Keep pressing down with the right hand. Keep drawing up with the abdomen. The left hand comes back to the floor. Right knee comes back to the floor. If you think if your abdomen is soft and dropping forward, then you're putting a lot of pressure on your back. Muscles act in pairs, the abdominal muscles support your back. Right, we're going to move on from there to a pose called dog pose. So dog pose, you've got your fingers spread, the arms are straight, turn your toes under. Now what you're going to do to begin with is just to press down and hover your knees off the floor. It engages your stomach muscles. And breathe. Now you're going to push your hips higher towards the ceiling, keeping your knees bent, and at the same time you push your hands into the floor and stretch your tailbone up to the sky. Relax your head and neck down. So the knees are bent, the arms are straight. You're getting a lovely long stretch in the back. Breathe. So legs connect to your hips, the hips connect to the abdomen and the lower back. So we need to stretch the legs out. So keeping the left leg bent, see if you can stretch your right heel down towards the floor. Breathe. And bend the right knee and stretch the left leg back to the floor. And bend the left knee. So now you're going to stand up, but we're going to do it carefully, protecting your back all the time. You're going to look towards your hands, and then you're going to start to walk your hands back towards your feet till you're balanced on the feet. Knees are bent and your chest is resting on your thighs. And you're going to hold on to the inner upper arms and relax your head down. So again, it's a lovely, nice stretch out for that lower back region. Keep breathing, because the breath will massage your body. And then if you want to, you can experiment and see if you can straighten your legs and bend. And then with the knees bent, release your hands to the floor. So the arms are nice and loose. You're going to tuck your chin towards your chest. So you're going to come up with knees bent one vertebra at a time. So go slowly. Head's going to come up next. So now we're standing. So when we stand, how we stand is really important. We need to balance the body. The head needs to be balanced over the shoulders and the shoulders over the hips. If we push the head forward, we start to affect the lower back. The other thing is you often see people that their hips are back there, so the abdomen falls forward. The weight of the abdomen is then pulling on the lower back. So posture is very important. So when you're standing, push your hips forward, lift your chest, balance your head over your shoulders, shoulders over the hips, and stretch your fingers down towards the floor. Tadasana, mountain pose. So you probably can feel a nice stretch on these front groins. So again, those are areas which will affect your lower back. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come to the wall and take your heels to the wall. So you've got your back against the wall. Tadasana on the wall, centre of the back of the head. You've still got that natural lumbar curve. And also what happens, our shoulders, how we use our arms, affects how we use our lower back. And you're going to stretch your hands down with the palms facing the wall. Inhale and raise your arms up into the air. Now, you don't want to move that pelvic area. It's in neutral. But what happens is when we want to take our arms and hands to the wall, very often people will do that and arch their back in order to do it. So you have to learn to listen to the lower back, listen to the area of your waist. It's not going to move. You raise your arms up to wherever you can go. So it might be just to here before it starts to alter, and you can feel the pull on the back. So you then have to take your shoulder blades down your back and learn to lift. Exhale and bring the arms down. So again, I've given you some books and I'd like them to be near the wall. Like that. So we're going to stretch out the lower area of your back on one side. So I'm going to use the box to stand with my left foot on the block and to come up. So now my right foot is off the floor. So you've got the wall near you, so you've got the wall for balance. So you need to keep this leg standing on the books upright. So no pushing out with the hip. Bring your hip in line. Balance. Hips are forward. And then all you're going to do is just swing the leg. So it's not a big movement. You're not going to be doing it for very long because I haven't got the time on the tape, and if I run out of time, you'll have to forgive me and I'll have to set a second tape up if we don't get all the work in. But this is something you can do, and I'm only going to do it on one leg. This is something for you to experiment yourselves with. And then when you come off there, even after a short time, that leg will feel longer. You've released out. If you think we have gravities pushing down on everything, so that to do that on the leg and the hip joint, it just releases out. We're using gravity to open out. So let's move that out of the way. And again, working on how the body connects up, we're going to do an opening of these front groins. So if I do it on this side, I think, so you can see what I'm doing. If you take your right foot to the wall, I'll be doing mirror image so you can see. The heel goes to the wall and you're going to step forward with your left leg from mirror imaging. I'd like you to put your hands on those iliac crests, the part of your hips. So I want you to feel whether it's tipping, and we want to keep that in neutral. And you need to work this back leg strongly. So you're going to push the heel into the wall so that you can start to feel a lovely stretch across that front groin. So you've engaged those quadriceps and that front groin. So don't let that happen, that you tip forward. You need to keep your chest lifted. You need to keep this part of your hips, that you need to have them pointing forward and up, not down towards the floor. So keep working that back leg. And if that's enough for you at the moment, that's fine. If you want to take it even further, see what happens as you really work that heel into the skirting board and bending the front knee. So go on lifting your chest. You're not going to lean forward. All I want you to do is feel the work of that back leg. And straighten the front leg and bend the front leg. You decide how far you want to bend that front leg. And then breathe once you're there. Go on bringing that tailbone forward. And straightening that front leg. Step your feet together. So we need to do that on the other side. So taking your left heel to the wall and step out with the right leg. Establish that back leg. So the heel's on the wall. Make sure you've got the pelvis upright. Fingers on those iliac crests so you're not tipping forward. You'll know when you're tipping forward because you can feel the difference. And then press the heel into the wall. Knee goes back. Feel the stretch. And then bend that front leg. Feel the stretch intensify and straighten. Bend and hold. Keep working that back leg. Keep lifting your chest. And straightening the front leg and step the feet together. So now we're going to do a pose called Warrior, but that was Warrior 1, but not the complete pose. I just want to get you working the legs. Warrior 2 takes the feet wide apart. Eventually you're looking for wrists over ankles, but it might well be that the legs are nearer. And then we turn the feet. So I'll mirror image for you. You come up on the toes of the left foot and turn the toes in slightly. Then you're going to come up on the heel of the back of the front, the right leg, and turn. So turn the toes. So then my heel is now lined up with my instep. So the next thing that happens here, the hips want to twist. So what we need to do is, you can keep your hands on your hips on this one. I'd like you to then turn your hips to the front and feel the work of this back leg. This leg has to rotate back. But what happens is this one wants to rotate forward. Today I want to focus just on this back leg, the work of the back leg, and keeping this pelvic area upright. So then we're going to bend the front knee. So go slow, just bend the front knee. And all the while you're resisting with that back leg. So just bend it wherever it will come to. Now I can go wider than this. I'm looking to keep my knee over my ankle. So I don't want it to be beyond and I don't want it to be back. I just want it straight over the ankle. And then keep working the hips down. Just work. Work with the back leg. And breathe. And then straightening the right leg. Turn the feet to the front. And then you're going to come to the opposite side. So turning in the right toes. Come up on the toes of the left foot. Turn. Lining up the heel and instep. And then think about the body. Square off those hips to the front. Feel the work in the legs. And then keeping that rotation backwards of this back leg, start to bend the front knee. All the while you're trying to keep those hips towards the front. Just keep going. And then breathe. Then straightening the front leg. Turn your toes to the front. And then we're going to do some squats. So I would like to have the feet now turned out. bring your hands together in prayer in front of your chest. I call this one sumo rest, or I like this one. And it teaches us how to keep that body nice and upright, but also rotates and works the hip joints. So in this one, you're going to bend the knees. So what I want you to do is tuck that tailbone down. You're going to keep your back absolutely upright. And as you go out, I'd like you to think the inner knees have got to go towards the little toe side of the foot. So no tracking in with the knees. You've really got to open those knees out as you sit down. And then straightening the legs. Exhale, tailbone goes down, abdomen lifts, back is nice and straight, chest is lifted, down you go again. Oh, I can feel this. Last time. Down you go. Keep breathing. Once you're there, see if you can hold it for a couple of breaths. Keep opening those knees out to the side. And coming up slowly. And then you can release the hands, shimmy the feet. So we're going to go back to the floor now and still opening these groins. So I'm hoping we don't run out of time. You now need your 3 books with that amount of height. And you need it by the side of your hips. Bend your knees, roll yourself down, nice and slow, 1 vertebra at a time. So the books, they're going to go underneath. So if you've got several books and your back is not too happy, then you need to go 1 book at a time. So I'll do 1 book at a time today. So you're going to press that lower back into the floor. You've done it before. Lift your hips and place the book on your lower back, the area of the sacrum. And go again. Press down into the book now. Lift your hips. Place the second one. And then the third one. Going to press your lower back in, lift up, place it. So we now need to make sure you've got it in the right spot. So it's not right into your waist. You'll feel if it's in the right spot. It feels supported on your lower back. And then you can tuck your shoulder blades down your back onto the floor. Let your arms come out to the side, palms up. And then you're going to stretch your right leg out. And then stretch your left leg out. So it's a nice little mini back bend, but also you can now really feel the openings of these front groins. You can feel how the pelvic area is nice and square onto those blocks. My hip bones are pointing up towards the ceiling, and it's a nice opening of that area. So unfortunately you can't stop long, but these are ones for you to play with, experiment with, find the poses which help you the most. So we need to come out of this. You can stop in that one for 5 or 10 minutes, whatever you like. So coming out, we're going to go out the way we went in. So we take the blocks away one at a time. You press down, lift up, take a block away and lower down. And again, up you go. And then lower down. Last block, whatever you've got. And down to the floor. And then bend your knees onto your chest. And if you can, lift your head, wrap your arms right the way around, holding onto an elbow if you can. And then take your head back to the floor. So now see if you can squeeze as much of your back down onto the floor as possible, right down to the tailbone, stretching the spine onto the floor. And then holding onto the backs of your legs, halfway up the thighs. Then you're going to straighten your legs to sit yourself up. Let's move the blocks out the way. So when we sit on the floor, if you have a tendency to round your spine, if your hamstrings are tight, then you need to sit on a block. A block will lift your lower back, assist your posture. So just sit on the block. There. So we're going to do seated poses. So if you know you need to have this block for support, take it. If you're not sure, take it and find out. sitting, getting the buttock flesh out of the way. So this is Dandasana. Dandasana, if I swivel round that way, is to look for a nice L shape, and the hands come down by the side of the hips. You press down and lift your chest. Again, moving on swiftly from that one. I'd like you to take your right leg out to an angle of 45 degrees. And then you're going to take your hand into the back of the left knee, draw it up to the side and draw the foot in towards your right groin. So if you've got a knee wavering about in the air, you need to lean back. And then see if you can sit yourself back up again. So I'm not going to do a full pose in this one. Normally it is a forward bend and also a half twist towards the straight leg. But today I'd like to work on keeping that knee bent, but to do it as a twist. So you're going to take your right hand to the outside of that knee, the left knee, fingertips to the floor behind you as well, and then use the leverage of the arm to just twist your abdomen. Twist. And then bring your head back to the centre again, walk your hands round to the centre, and then take them over to the other side. So this can be the left hand to the outside of the right leg, so by about just above the knee, fingertips round behind you, and then you can use the leverage to turn in the reverse direction. And release. Stretch your legs out in front of you, and then take the left leg out 45 degrees and bring the right leg in. So observe which is the easiest one, which hip joint works better than the other, and then lean back if you need to. And then sitting upright, hopefully to keep the knee down, then it's going to be the left hand to the outside of the leg, the bent leg, fingertips round onto the floor, and twist. Oh, I had a nice click in my lower back then. And release. Come to the other side. So use the leverage of the wrist against the leg to help you to turn a bit. And release. Stretch your legs out in front of you. So the last pose you're going to do is called Paschimottanasana, which is a full forward bend. It stretches the backs of your legs and your back. However, if you've got issues with your back or your hamstrings are tight, that tends to be an impossibility. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by sitting with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And then I'd just like you to just lean forward and relax. Relax your head, relax your neck. And then hopefully you've got your hands in contact with your feet. See if you can take hold of the outer edges of your feet. So wrap your fingers around the outer edges of your feet. And keeping your head and neck relaxed, what I'd like you to do is walk your right foot a little bit away from you, and then the left foot. So your toes are up in the air now. And then walk again, right foot, left foot. And you will come to a point where your chest wants to come away from your thighs, but it can't because you're holding onto your feet. So you just go as far as you can, keeping your chest in contact with those thighs. You will then feel the stretch on your hamstrings. A strong stretch on your hamstrings. And inhale, sit yourself up. These are poses I'd like you to just play with because I haven't got the time to hold you in them any length of time. So very last pose, we're going to do a twist. So I would suggest you have a block, even if you haven't got one or feel you don't need one. It makes life easier in this pose. And stretch your legs out in front of you, get your buttock flesh out of the way. Bend your knees up. Now I can't mirror image because I get my lefts and rights all wrong when I'm twisting. So you're going to take your left leg, put the foot underneath the right and hook the heel around the outside edge of your book or block. The right leg steps over the left. And again, it's a twist, and these are really good for your back. And you're going to twist, you're going to take your left hand, wrap it round the front of that right upright knee, and then take the right hand round behind you, fingertips to the floor, and turn. And breathe. So this one's a really good one. You should be feeling that stretch across the buttock of this leg that's in the air, the right leg. And if anyone has, it's not to be done when you've got sciatica, but it's a good way to prevent the sciatica because it's pulling that nerve through the buttock flesh. And release. So we're going to do down on the other side. So it's going to be the right foot underneath the left leg and hook round the edge of the hook. Stepping over with the left leg. Right arm comes round the front of that knee. Fingertips to the floor behind you and twist. And release. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Now, move the block. So you've got your pillows. Pillows are really good. At night, if you've got problems when you sleep, hopefully you sleep on your side. If you sleep on your tummy, you're really going to get a backache quite. So if you lay on your side, take a pillow between your knees so that it helps that pelvis area to stay in its neutral plane. You're not twisting the hips in any way or form. When you relax, and you're going to relax in a minute, then take the pillows and place them underneath your knees so that it relaxes your lower back to the floor. Very nice. You could stay there for a long time. So you need to work at making your back really comfortable. So get yourself into this position for relaxing and get those shoulder blades down onto the floor. So to relax at the end of a session, it sort of allows you to consider how you feel. It allows you, I feel it allows your body to assimilate what it's been doing. So then you're going to take your arms out to the side, palms up, and just let go. So you need to then move to the relaxation video, which does this more in depth. So you just let go of your feet, your legs, the whole of the front body and your back. Allow your shoulders and arms to relax. Your face. And then you focus just on your breathing, watching the breath in and out of your nostrils, how the chest moves. And see if you can focus on that gentle rise and fall of your abdomen with the breath for a few minutes. So if you can,